When issues arise on our systems, we need to rely on real-time information in order to inspect the processes that may be causing issues within our environment. Real-time processing occurs in the form of a great command called top. Top provides a consistently updating output of the top consuming processes running within your system. It's similar to our PS information, except for the fact that it continually updates, by default, every second. This continual refresh allows us to see trends over time in a real-time output. We get a ton of helpful information to track down what may or may not be causing the issues within our system. So let's take a look at some of the fields of information that top provides us. While we can customize which columns exist, as well as the order of sorting the information to the top output, the default output includes this information. First and foremost, it includes our PID, or process identification number, and the username with which the process is owned. We get a column for the virtual memory the process is using, and we have several labels to describe that further. Resident memory is the physical memory used by the process, as well as any of its shared objects. We then have a column that describes the process state, and we've learned in previous sections about the various process abbreviations, from uninterruptible sleep all the way to zombies. The time field is the amount of CPU total processing time that process has consumed. This can be toggled to also include the cumulative time of all child processes as well. This table shows us some of the helpful keystrokes we use within top output. If you wish to get a listing of the commands in order to manipulate the output top is displaying, you can use the question mark or the H key. When we wish to specifically see things like load, threads, or the memory header lines, we have a key for each of those, L, T, and M. The 1 key will toggle on and off the output of the individual CPUs for systems that have more than one CPU, which is not at all uncommon in today's world. With the S key, we can supply a numerical argument for number of seconds with which to update the output. This can also take decimals, so we can update as quickly as every half second or as slowly as we need to. The B key will reverse the highlighting of the running processes. The default is bold only. Capital B or Shift B enables the use of bold in the display. Capital H or Shift H toggles threads and will show the process summary of the individual threads. U and capital U filter for any username, so allows you to supply that argument. Lowercase u will be the effective username, and capital U will be the real username that owns the process. Oftentimes a user launches a process, but it may run under a different name, and that's really the difference between effective and real usernames. Capital M sorts the output by memory usage, and capital P sorts the output by processor utilization. These helpful keys allow you to read and interpret, as well as manipulate the output of top to help fuel your administrative and investigative troubleshooting tasks. Continuing with just a few other hotkeys for the top command, we see that we have the K argument, which allows us to list a PID of a specific running process and provide a signal to that process. So directly from within top's output, we can highlight and identify a process that we may wish to terminate. We would hit the K key, supply the process identification number, and the signal we wish to send, either the short code like sigterm or the numerical value like 9. While we've not discussed the concept of nice values, there is a preferential treatment to processes going on that the kernel determines. We have the ability to influence kernel decisions on which processes are more important by adjusting a value known as the nice value. The R key allows us to re-nice a process, or to adjust its value of importance within the list of processes that the kernel will be self-managing. This allows us a manual intervention to tell the kernel we prefer a certain process be processed sooner or deferred to later in the stack. If we wish to save the current information we're seeing in top, we can write that out to a file using a capital W. When we're ready to exit out of the top output, we use the Q key to quit. Lastly, we can customize which fields are included in top output using the F key. Depending on what you're after with looking at this output, you may care more or less about certain fields, and you can omit the ones that aren't valuable to your inspections. This concludes our section on monitoring processes. Join me in the next video where we go through a guided exercise to test these skills out.